Back to the graveyard we go. I am joined by Lethal for this one, and it's going to be Xron versus Toxic, another knockout game here at the Quake World Championship 2022. Lethal, how are you? I saw you on the A stream. It's just like you're teleporting everywhere.
I know, I'm TPing back and forth, mate. This is what it's all about today, because we've got every single match being covered it on the stream. We can't complain, can we? It's just more than merrier, isn't it? But yeah, I came back because I knew that Tox and Xron was playing, and I was like, I'm in for that. Like, there's no way I'm going to avoid this matchup at all.
Yeah, I mean, two players that have been in the Quake Pro League before, going at it, cementing their spot in the Quake Pro League again, but trying to make their run through the lower bracket. The map pool is going to be Veil, Awoken, Blood Covenant if we get to map number 3. And the first map, Veil, Toxic's playing Scale, and Xron has Strog.
Wow, okay, so Scale was made available. That's actually a bit of a surprise, but you can see from there, Xron literally banned the Athena because, again, we've got Awoken, we've got Blood Covenant, 2 maps, which, let's be real, a lot of players do use the Athena, don't they? So he's just doing it early and having the opportunity to leave out the Scale for Tox, which, of course, he insta-picked that probably straight away. That's not really too much of a surprise. And Xron selecting Strog. This is a really bizarre champion picks from both. I think Scale makes sense, but I think we're just not used to it because it's banned so much. But the only time I've seen Strog used on Veil ever was when Tox actually selected it previously yesterday. So yeah, not much that you normally see. You normally see the Izens, Galenas, etc. Maybe a kill pick for you if you're lucky, but yeah, that's
always kill. Instant lock on any map for me. But yeah, for the match that Tox picked Strog on Veil, how did that go? Because I don't know if I've been busy over here doing the graveyard shift, so I don't know. I forget how that went.
That was against Rafa, so I'm not saying anything else.
Roof. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I mean, as you said, Strog is a not common pick for Veil, so whether or not Xron knows a little something, whether he just tries to get that extra HP after a frag, well, first you have to get the frag against Scale. And we talked a little bit about hitboxes and heavy champions on land and how things, playing the way that the game should, it's actually kind of a detriment to have such a big hitbox. So we'll see. Maybe Xron just melts right through the Scale Bearer, but I'm sure Tox is ready for anything.
He certainly is. He just wants to have a bit of fun and a dance of the bull rush, doesn't he? We haven't seen it yet. I've not seen it yet all weekend because the guy gets banned every time. Poor guy, man. Imagine getting banned every single time. It's just one of the worst things. But now he's here to play. Well, still technically here to stay. And now Xron is going to be the one who has to deal with it because he did ban the Athena earlier on.
Yeah, should be a good one. I mean, again, I hope all these lower bracket games go to the best of 3 because this is going to be the last time we see these players in this tournament. So I want to get my money's worth, Lethal, but we'll see. It starts off on Veil here shortly. I heard the ding. We're getting into the server. Again, Scale versus Strog, Tox versus Xron, 2 legends who have been in the Quake Pro League before. And battling through the lower bracket, trying to make top 8, trying to get to the grand finals, the big show, the big stage.
I'm excited for this because Tox seems to be on not I wouldn't say peak performance, but good form anyway, nonetheless. But after we saw Xron literally dismantling RMV, it makes me feel like, how far can he go? How far can he take this? Can he push top 12? Maybe top 8 if we're lucky, because he's got the veteran experience there. But I'm saying that, yeah, we've got Tox, he's probably got about 20 years experience. So, there's a bit of a difference in that department. But it's great how Tox is like, in his late 30s, or is it like 38 now, something like that. But his aim skill is like of a teenager. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But just going into game now, and let's crack on from Tox's POV.
And there's the Bull Rush, and he gets a big old donk into the Rockets as well. Can he finish it? He can't. Okay, never mind. Somehow the trade comes out. And quite the banging start for both these players here as the trade comes out at 1.
And he does indeed. There's Tox. That's the weapons over him. He's just waiting for the opportunity just to rocket through the TP, grab that mega, but realises that he's nowhere to be found, so that's not even going to be necessary. There's both of them just chilling around that heavy, so let's see if he can make the first save. Oh, what a straight up rocket for the heavy. He's going to be able to get both his items, but it looks like Xron is trying to go for it, but wasted the peek. It didn't get that mega either. That's so unfortunate.
That sucks. There's no other way to put that. Unfortunate that he couldn't even steal the Mega away, and now Tox is looking oh so strong. The stack on Scale is going to be nuts. 10 seconds to the heavy. Bull Rush in hand and all of the weaponry he could possibly want. Xron now trying to fight from his back against the wall, just setting up for some damage here, whether it be Rail or Rocket. He wants to land a little something after the pickup, and Tox so smart, not going for the armor immediately, instead hearing the Railgun, here's the Rocket jump up, there's the Bull Rush, and Xron takes out Xron, Tox up 2.
Yeah, so if I can't get the kill, no one will, so literally just ended it right there and then there's Tox to get railed back, so we will be retreating for that light. Good LG though, considering he that last rail, and nice use, well, attempted at that beacon, but of course good stuff from Tox. Constantly fighting back, you maybe could have railed him straight afterwards again, but it was so weak, it was not really much point. He was trying to go for the extra insurance policy there with the LG, but doesn't clean him up. Let's make us up in the next few seconds. Heavy's already been taken, of course. And that's going to be a nice little job here from Tox. Tox is looking pretty damn good so far.
Very solid, and the timing slightly off from Xron, costing him his life 3-0. And Tox is looking strong, and this is the Tox that you want if you're on his side. You want to see a nice run through the lower bracket. This is a strong start. Only 2 minutes in, only time for Xron to come back. The Bull Rush! Nope, just can't get those cheeks. Good defensive rails from Xron to at least get a little bit of damage back, but Tox just barreling down on his opponent. Now has to be very careful. Just enough HP to get railed and eliminated. Doesn't want to jump for the heavy yet. Does top off on health. Almost gets the rail on the way out, but that's going to be the old switcheroo between the major items.
Yeah, that was a safe bet, because there's that opportunity where if he did get cleaned up going for that heavy, or maybe if he burns it, that could have been the best outcome, then of course Xron would have just gone for the Mega and then trying to establish map control here. But Tox is making sure that he does a stop to that peak every single time so early on, and still pushing Xron back, but the problem is Tox hasn't got the stack to make this engagement work for him unless he's got the absolute most incredible track in here possible. But that little bit of damage will help a tiny bit, but because Xron just picked up the heavy, Mega is still up. There's going to be a perfect opportunity to pick that up, and good chip damage from Tox once again.
Yeah, really nice rail there, being able to recalibrate where Xron was coming from and attacking, and at least getting some damage on the way out. Tox a little bit of armor to his name now. Heavy's going to be up first, but mostly wants to drop down and get that light armor, and he does so. Minimal damage with the acid. Again, I always say you need a babysitter when you drop into acid. 3:30 in, still up 3. Toxic looking strong. And age doesn't matter. 38, I think, officially the oldest player in this tournament. And like you said, still aims like a teenager, fragging like a teenager. Got me excited like a teenager. My pants are a mess, Lethal. 3-0.
Do you know what? I can picture that now, and I've got a horrendous picture now as I'm trying to imagine. Why I imagined that, I don't know, but going back to this, Tox is just managed to fit that rail. Xron is in a horrible position, but Tox is like, thank you very much. I'll be taking that full frag with or without that peak coming into play. 4 minutes in, 4 frags to his name. Heavy is up. Mega's also up, almost in sync. And look at Xron literally just trying to contest at the same time. Put himself on not the best of spots, but with the LG, the rocket as well. And Tox, of course, he's after blood. He knows it's in the water here, waiting for him to transition across. Not happy, and decides to go a different route from light and go towards the TP.
And you can see the slight, like, rail shots, attempts, and stuff like that. Tox is just getting more and more comfortable with the situation. A little bit of swagger here. He needs to be careful. Does hit a rail on his way out, surviving with 5 HP after grabbing a 25. He's going to be up 30, but Xron eliminates him, putting his first frag back on the board after the earlier suicide, which brought him back to 0. But he needs to be careful. He's going to take so much damage hanging by a thread, and Tox knows he's not going to chase. He wants the item control. He knows that Xron doesn't have really a lot to work with, and now he's just going to patrol this area, seeing if he goes through the telly, grab some shards to make sure he has the Bull Rush again, which has been very lucrative thus far. Xron, 2 beautiful rails to even it back out straight into the peaker.
Oh,
there's the Bull Rush!
All the way above, and this is what I miss Tox, man. Like, some of the plays he makes is just outrageous, but does work. But Sandy just barely missed it as he was dropping on down. I'm sure Xron was like, what on earth is this and what is going on? As he is available, is going to pull back for the time being. 15 seconds until the heavy is out. Tox is not going to give him a chance in hell. 3 HP, he is taken out. Tox, decent stack to work with to continue the aggression. Bull Rush in the next 12 seconds or so, depending on the hourglasses. And is still looking to continue with a very strong performance.
Not bad at all. Again, Xron is playing from home on this one, and Toxic is making him subscribe to his only lands, Lethal. 5-1 is Toxic looking to take this first map. Looking up pretty strong. Oh, just tries to line it up. Can't quite make the shot through the grate. Needs to restack anyway, so Xron getting in on the Mega potential for the heavy, as the split between the items is rather large.
Certainly is indeed, but Tox have to deal with a lot of pressure there, but good rockets, and that second one definitely put a stop to the aggression from Xron, and looking to see how he's going to try and have that recovery process begin as Mas picks up the the light and that bubble from down below. Oh, Xron was just like, yeah, none of that. We're just going to put a stop to that straight away, and of course, time is ticking, nearly 3.5 minutes left, still looking for 3 more frags to tie it up. Good LG for Xron, but as the push just stopped the direct in its full damage, and that was a great way to kick things off in terms of making that comeback happen.
The buckshot just failing from Tox, unfortunately not landing near the damage he thought he would get. Xron, however, with a volley of the buckshot, taking out Scale yet again, looking at his 4th frag potentially, and there it is, a little tickle is all he needed. He's very close to equalizing this at 5. Tox needs to slow things down, 3 minutes remain.
Certainly does indeed, and you know what, I'm getting this vibe where this is going to go to the 3rd and final map, the way they're going back and forth. It's both of them trying to equal the aggression, but obviously put a stamp of authority on this map. And Xron looking to push back through. Both know Heavy's got up in the next 7 seconds, but it looks like Tox is in the position to try and contest it or do as much damage as possible. But he's actually decided to completely leave it and go through the TP instantly, or at least try and get back the height advantage. A little bit too late, but he's still in a position to get that Mega. It's happening in the next 3 seconds though, so Xron needs to make an important decision whether he wants to sit back or just go for it. And it looks like he's done a lot of damage already, and I think it was worth it considering how much damage he'd done compared to what he would have done picking up that Mega. 2 minutes 20 left on the clock, and still only trailing behind by that 1 frag.
Tox almost went to the Thunderdome. He needs to re-up on rockets. For now, he's going to grab the time shards to get Bull Rush back again. Needs to be careful. I feel like Toxic has this just world-renowned click of empty ammo, and it's terrifying. Especially in moments like this. 2 minutes left, 1 frag lead. Nice Bull Rush to secure the Mega. That's going to be rather free. Huge discrepancy between the items now, as Toxic is very, very early for this Heavy. Preemptive rockets through the door. Xron waiting from above. Toxic just looking for any kind of information to pinpoint exactly where he's at. And LG on LG, there comes the peeker. A little bit of a distraction, no more than that. Xron switching to LG himself. The rail will miss from Tox, but he does win out on the Heavy after all of that, Lethal.
Combat skills is just ridiculous, isn't it? Both of them very equal. Actually, let's have a look at the stats just quickly. 20 items for Tox, 12 for Xron at the moment, but in terms of accuracy, honestly from Xron as well, 62% with the rail and 57% with the LG. Can't complain there. There's now Xron looking to try and contest this Heavy. It's down below. Advantage in the situation. They're about to live the first one. Good use of the Bull Rush trying to spear into him, but Xron does manage to take him out still. All tied up, 1 minute left in play. He's going to put even more damage there. What's that? An 87 from that last rocket. Even the stacks only a little bit, but this is a huge amount of damage Xron is doing. Even after picking up that Mega, we'll be able to stop him. Yes!
Oh my god!
50 HP left.
And that's got to be so disheartening off the back of a Bull Rush that was fantastic. He couldn't convert in the air with the midi. And then Xron able to grab the Heavy and now get another frag to take the lead from Tox at the last second. 30 seconds remain for Tox to try and equalize this, and this was in his hands the whole time. Good rocket. It's going to throw him off target, but the Heavy gets taken. Unreal. Oh, the buckshot! Not like
he only had 20
this.
seconds left, didn't he? But he kind of felt like, you know what, if I don't take this risk now, he may just continue running away and just reposition himself in some unorthodox place. But you can see Tox has to push on him, misses the Bull Rush, rails him straight afterwards, and does get taken down. These risks have to be taken, I'm afraid, for you, but it does happen. It does also mean that Xron does take that by 8 frags to 5. And the accuracy again was just absolutely phenomenal. 64% with the rail, 56% with the LG. So many close range fights. Not really too much range play. Anything we did see from the Heavy's perspective was just due to the fact that there were so many occasions where Tox had the advantage up top. Obviously, he could be the first one to lay down the law with the rockets dropping down. There were some good hits at the start as he was contesting for those Heavies time and time again. But good show from Xron so far. I was a bit worried at the beginning, but, you know, switched things around, switched up momentum going in his favor.
Yeah, not bad at all. Absolutely heartbreaking if you're a Tox fan. And it's some of the Classico that we've seen from him before, where he's in the lead, he's maintaining possession, and it slowly starts to slip away. And then by 2 or 3 minutes remaining, you're like, oh, shit, it doesn't look good. And that's exactly what happened on map number 1. Very unfortunate. Now Tox is up against the wall right now. Map number 2 could be the end of Tox's run through the lower bracket here. We're going to swap over to Awoken. Tox is going to be rocking the Doomslayer. Xron is going to be playing Anarchy. And yeah, that should have been Tox's game, but slowly but surely Xron able to come back, make it happen. So good on Xron, but yeah, if you're a Tox fan, that one hurts.
Yeah, certainly did indeed. And going to the champions as you were talking on Awoken, Doom, no surprise. What is a surprise is Xron using the Anarchy and Tox using the Doom. It's like Xron is just purposely annoying Tox just to select the champions, which he's most probably going to be selecting for these matches. And he goes, nah, I'm just going to make your life a living hell in this season. I'm just going to take away all your toys and just have it use it for myself. It's literally like a spoiled kid at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the problem here that I see is Anarchy's just so fast, and especially on Awoken. I know Doomslayer can kind of use the double jump to get from rockets to T-Con and back and forth, and so, but the banana area maneuvering with Anarchy and being able to just bounce out of there immediately with the speed could be a nightmare for Tox to try and chase. So we'll see. Backs against the wall. This could be the final map for Tox's run here in the tournament. Xron looking strong, man, even though he's in the lower bracket, still looking pretty good. Just fighting off these demons, trying to make his way to the big show.
Yeah, it certainly is. We said it earlier as well, like when Xron was playing against RMV, we were just super impressed of how Xron was playing just overall, not just his aim skill, but just how he's adapted to every opponent so early on in that matchup. It took a bit more time against Tox because we know what Tox is like. He's a very open-ended player. It can be quite hard to figure out at times with his drive-bys, and what he tries to do in game is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it seems like he's trying to put a stranglehold onto this series. He wants to try and just finish this up 2-0. And it's nice to see Xron really, you know, on the peak of his game so far. I think a lot of people may have said due to the level of practice also coming from challenges, they may probably loses round 1, round 2, maybe, depending on the circumstances. But no, they seem to be performing really well considering the level of practice they've been putting in.
Fight.
Let's take a look. Is this going to be the last dance, so to speak, for Tox? 10 minutes, and we will be able to tell the tale here. Going through the telly early. These rockets are absolutely gorgeous. Can he land the damage? Machine gun will be it. Tox making a statement out of the gate saying, I'm not going anywhere.
It seems about right, and Xron is still looking to try and recover. Luckily for him, it wasn't around the TP with that rail just daring for him to go around the LG area. It's Xron in a spot of bother, but it seems to be okay. He seems to be able to get it back quite easily, apart from that last rail, which is going to be sending alarm bells to Tox to say, right, let's just get this done. And he still manages to hit that rail. That's ridiculous, and still gets the heavy on top of that.
Not too shabby. Ooh, getting by. I was going to say pushing through the choke point with minimal damage, but that second rocket actually kind of chipped away at Tox. He needs to be careful here. He's going to be able to use that damage to deny the armor shard. Light armor. I keep saying that. Kick me in the balls, Lethal, when I say that. Good LG from Tox to take a second frag. Wanted to deny that light armor up there, but the nail jump actually didn't work for him. Still, 2 frag lead, not bad. Well, shards are the things that come out of the bodies when they die. I just keep getting it messed up in my head because I'm an idiot. So,
well, at least we don't
is that what you want to hear, chat? I'm an idiot, all right? We all knew that. But anyways, 2-0, 130 in, picks him out of the sky. Xron is just playing a little bit too loosey-goosey right now, giving up too many frags, a little bit too easy for Tox.
Sounds like when I used to keep saying reds instead of heavy, yeah. I remember those days, as now Tox does. Finish Xron up there, 4-0, nice early lead, and still got such a great stack to continue on piling on this pressure. The Suffolk came around LG, now just going to dive on in, circling around from Rockets over towards the Mega. And this is looking much better from Tox compared to what we saw in the previous game. But then again, the previous match, he had a very good start. He had a very good beginning. But because we had the scale, we're not too sure how he's going to approach this matchup. Just taking advantage of that Doom with that passive ability going forward top mid. But giving Xron a chance now to stack back up. And the 60 from the driver is not going to be too good. But that rocket back from the retaliation is going to help him massively. Mess up the tracking just a tad apart from the end. Both of them equally weak, both railable, but after Tox picking up that heavy, he's pretty damn safe.
Yeah, not bad. Good LG from Xron, but good backing away from Tox, being able to secure that heavy. And even on the way out, still doing decent LG damage, and now he's got another major item to his name, and now he's just on the hunt right now. Does need to re-up on LG eventually. Also only 5 slugs remaining in the rail. But for the most part, this is kind of the Tox show. Xron has 1 heavy armor and 5 lights and no megas. Item control firmly in favor of Tox as he's battling his way to try and make this set extend to a map 3.
Just being so much trouble for Xron there. Man's go 2 for 2, doesn't get much tri-bolt. As he's going to push on through and think, sod it, do you know what? I'm just going to dive on him from a different angle rather than just waiting around holding the kind of the positional advantage earlier on. But 3 minutes in, Xron still looking to try and find his footing here, just biding his time. I think he's tough in a bad place. Oh
my
no,
god!
That was just so perfectly timed. And when you saw that, especially with the way Anarchy plays with his mobility, we knew that he was in some deep trouble.
That was just... It's so rough when you get caught in that perfect strafe unison and that LG just sings. No more rails for Tox, but he will be patient and grab that mega first. Priorities. As Xron doing a good job defending the rail right now, but now he needs to pop the inject. Again, Tox caught in this situation where he really wants to use the rail, but he doesn't have any, and now he's out of LG as well, so he's going to have to opt for getting that light armor. Trying to use the machine gun. Xron extremely weak, and finally Tox able to get more rails. Perhaps his comfort weapon here, as he is hitting 64% rail this game.
My goodness, what a rocket as well.
I don't want to take away from this game, but I will say, spoilers, mute the stream if you don't want to hear the update from the A stream. But it is official, Rafa has been rocked into the lower bracket.
No.
He got his entire life has been...
I said that on stream. I said, but do you know what? I'm so tempted to say Max is going to take this, but I bottled it.
His entire world is shook, and he is rocked back and forth with blows from Maxter. I mean, I didn't actually see the full game, obviously, but wow. We're going to be seeing Rafa in the lower bracket right here in the graveyard, and that's insane. But back to the task at hand. 5 minutes in, 5 frags for Tox, trying to send us to a map number 3 between these two.
I'm going to assume that was a 2-0, and yeah, that's incredible stuff there. Tox now still continuing on piling on the pressure. Still no frags for Xron, but it's like I said before, the item control is just incredible. 5 items for Xron, but 14 there for Tox. We know that he's quite good with the items anyway, depending on his opponent, but Xron it's not like he's just giving it away uncontested. You can see from there, he's just at least trying to get some chip damage in as he's picking up to not make it work as well, but just either misses him or doesn't really stand too much of a chance straight afterwards. And the way Tox is railing at the moment, 58% against a light, that's incredible.
Just the human aimbot. I mean, we joke about it, but this is technically, I'm going to say, not even Tox at his peak, right? I mean, obviously, he's put in the time to practice to get back into form. He qualified, but this isn't even, I would say, prime time Tox, and he's still hitting insane shots that other people would just dream of hitting, and Xron finally clapping back, putting himself on the board with a good trap, good LG, but he's still got a lot more work ahead of him. 4 minutes to do so, Lethal.
He certainly does indeed. 12 seconds until the next heavy. Xron is already early and in prime position, but it's just, wouldn't say out of position, but just having a scarp around to see if he pushes from top mid. But oh, he actually had the angle, he had the read as well. He just turned around just at the same time as you could see a fraction of his hitbox. Xron pretending to go back round over to the rail, but Tox did not fall for that in the slightest. He's going to jump on up and make a call with the LG there, but lucky with that small jump, it's not going to affect him too much. He does have the inject as backup here. Not going to use it yet, of course. He's just going to scarp around, pick up the light, but he might do soon, especially after that last rocket. That was absolutely amazing. And Xron now just going to, again, just continue on that defensive approach. Still has time, still can get 4 frags, but even with the Anarchy, that mobility is going to give Tox some leverage here.
Tox not willing to concede fully. He knows what's on the line here. He's fighting for these items, taking a little bit of damage, but after the first map, he does not want Xron to come back again. So he has to still maintain presence on the map, even though he has to lead. He has to be able to damage on these items, if not take them away, and he's doing a great job of doing so.
He certainly does indeed. 10 seconds till the next heavy. Xron is literally trying to get as soon as physically possible, but Tox at the same time is jumping over his head to go top mid, and of course that's going to be the damage. I love this from Xron. He knows the speed to progress as fast as possible and prioritize the kill over the heavy because there's too much time.
Oh, that frag, the damage. Needs to be careful. Tox wants that Mega. He eats a rail instead while giving it up. Xron with a great read through the banana. No! Is it happening again, Lethal? It can't happen. He can't keep getting away with this.
He can't, and he's going to come out with the LG, but what is Tox going to do? He just needs to make this as annoying as possible. Just trying to do as much damage as he can before being cleaned up, but actually survives. Oh, he misses such an important rail. Could have gone off the map and could have secured a full frag. This one now is going to circle around top mid. You can see he wants this. He knows he needs to end this now, or else he may be in a bit of trouble going to that third map, as he does have the inject. Hits the first rail. Will he hit the second? As he's going to press, yes, he does. And even though Tox with the LG was trying to put him off, didn't affect him too much here, as Tox is just making the correct rotations to get away from his defensive purposes. As I say that, good jump up from Ron. Trying to clear him. Yes, he does. That's going to be the full frag. Needs to find one more in the next minute 20.
This is deja vu in all of the wrong ways for Tox right now. He doesn't want any of it. He doesn't want it. A minute 10 for the rest of his tournament life, potentially. Trying to extend to the map. Blood Covenant would be third at map. Trying to extend there and see what he can do. But for now, big air rocket as Xron drops down onto it. Great rail as well. That's going to send Xron packing. That buys Tox some life. Almost gets the frag. He needed that buffer. He misses the jump up the jump pad, but luckily can tank the rail before he grabs the Mega. That could have been catastrophic, Lethal.
It could have been as well. And why for Xron, just due to the fact that the stack difference is not monumental, but it's going to be very difficult for Xron to try and secure this fifth frag and take us to a sudden death. But looking at it now, he's picked up the heavy, so this is looking much better than I anticipated. 10 seconds until this Mega. Xron is in a better position in terms of being top mid and up at high advantage, but after dropping down now, it may cost him. He's actually just going to leave it entirely, which is quite interesting, as Tox still hasn't gone for it either. He just assumed that Xron is probably already there waiting or daring for him to come for that Mega, just trying to bait it out. Oh no, but as he rocket jumped, Tox had the LG out, rails him straight afterwards. Oh, what a way to finish that, and we are going to go to a third and final map. What a treat.
Staying alive. Somebody cue up the music. 6-4, Tox able to weather the storm and send us to a map number 3 against Xron. Well played, but there were shades of, oh my god, it's happening again. I was fully clinched. I don't know about you, Lethal. I don't know about you in the chat. That could have been a nightmare, but Tox, again, sends us to a third map with fantastic defensive play, great patience, and just, again, able to weather the storm and be like, namaste. Namaste in this lower bracket, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And yeah, I was clenching so hard onto my chair, like, Jesus, like, it was just, as if,
yeah,
like,
my chair was clinched, right, Lethal?
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
I don't know what I'm talking about. My brain is fried after this series and what's happening at the moment. But it's such a shame. We saw the thought process and we knew what Ron was thinking, but as if Tox was already there, had LG in hand, and it was just basically asking to come at him. It's just good reads on Tox, but just very unfortunate for Ron, because he had the right idea, the right plan. But we're going to go a little bit old school here, back onto Blood Covenant, and this is going to be an interesting matchup here. I do believe it is going to be the Visor versus the Galena matchup. Tox rocking the Visor, Xron with the Galena. We don't normally see much Galena nowadays on Blood Covenant, do we? But it's nice to see her back on this map.
Yeah, definitely maybe not as common as a pick, but we'll see what Xron has in store. Again, getting that totem economy is going to be important, usually near the stairwell, especially because it gives you access to the heavy, and with the pocket totems, you essentially get your own Mega if you can get those totems going. Tox, I'm sure he's well aware of that. He'll probably use the Visor to maybe deny some vials. You know, the vision's very important on this map, given the line of sight that you can get with the railgun. But this is going to be it. Map number 3. One of these players is going to end their tournament run here. Is it going to be Tox? Is it going to be Xron? Who knows? But both of these players have been on this stage before. They've been in this position. Again, both players previously in Quake Pro League. It should be a good one. I'm hoping it goes the distance on this one and isn't a blowout either way, Lethal.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't think it is going to be a blowout. I think from the champion picks we've seen so far, it's quite evenly matched. If it was like, I don't know, the Athena versus the Visor or something like that, then I would be a little bit skeptical. If it was the Athena versus a Slash, then it makes a bit more sense here. But, so like we said before, I haven't seen the Galena pick on Blood Covenant in quite a while. Visor, we see him now and again. It depends whoever gets Athena first at this stage, doesn't it? Or if Slash is banned or anything like that. But yeah, this should be a very interesting way. I think this is probably a spot for top 12. I'm not 100% on that, but of course we will update you as the bracket goes ahead. But we are almost going into Game 40. I'm excited. It is going to be a map number 3 between the likes of Xron and Tox. Let's get it.
Let's go. Live on Tox's POV as he pops the vision right off the bat and secures the railgun, missing with that shot, but does make his way onto the heavy armor eventually. Totem goes down for Xron as well as he picks up the Mega. So not the ideal sides for Xron anyway. Again, I feel that though, as a Galena, you want to try and play towards the heavy side of the map so you can control that while you're getting your totems going. Great rail from Tox there. Xron looking for some damage, but instead eats another rail, and he's just playing peekaboo here. Can Tox find the last rail to try and plant him? A 25 bubble will put Xron over railable range. A little bit hesitant to go for that light armor down below. Instead opts for the one at the bottom of the columns while picking up the Mega. And Tox again! I don't even know how he found that angle. Vision was popped for it, it looks like. Xron is just being relegated to the lower catacombs area here. Rough start.
Certainly is, and I kind of feel like Tox is like sometimes very few people, if not the only ones, get these really dodgy off angles and just gets away with it just due to the tracking behind him. It's just absolute madness. I was worried about Tox coming into this competition because his tracking wasn't as good as it used to be, but this weekend it's like the old Tox we know and love it. Using that piercing sight, hits the first rail, and Xron's saying, yeah, I'm not having any of that at all. Both items are in sync. But even though Xron has been on the back foot, he is on a decent stack.
And not too bad. Even after the initial damage, all things are relatively okay. Tied at 0 here. Xron yet to fire a rail. Hasn't had the opportunity. A little bit of LG rockets from down below. Tox laying it on thick with rails of his own. 62% as he sends Xron packing towards the heavy armor. That'll be free. Totem in hand, and Xron, worth noting, 2 minutes hasn't really gotten a lot of totems going, and this is the trap that Tox wanted. Big defensive rocket from Xron, keeping him alive. My God, Lethal. That was so clutch and so necessary.
It was necessary. Like, how long has Tox been on the hunt for? For such a long time, trying to chase him down. Finally caught up to him in the end. Xron somehow managed to come back and survive that. And we forgot to mention as well, this is going to be a huge battle for the hourglasses. You saw on 2 separate occasions, Tox looked underneath rail, just picked up the hourglass, and as he was going to drop down for it underneath Mega, already Xron was there going for it. So he knows where the potential chances of Xron and when he's going to position himself, but at the same time, Xron could also throw him off. But he's just outside the TP. Here's that totem dropped. Decides to just barely miss that one rail because he wasn't too sure if to have rockets in hand or not. Does back away. Heavy is still up. Both items are up, actually, funny enough, as both players are looking to prioritise their heavy, but it looks like Tox is thinking maybe not have any of that, but he's still making this decision. Decides to go all the way back, which is an interesting decision in itself, and instead, I love that as well, just reposition himself onto that rail to make him think that he's going to do a fair amount of chip damage if Xron actually did go for the heavy, but he did not, so some big brain plays from both players.
Yeah, I like it, and Xron was really patient trying to track down exactly where Tox was going, potentially cutting off and just letting him make the decision and then taking the fight, but eventually just conceded and went to Mega, and now Tox stuck in a terrible position with the stairwell, missing rails. Xron landing one of his own, potentially going to push in after maybe one more here, trying to take a peek over the bridge. Heavy is up, but it is absolutely not worth it. And again, Tox doubling back somehow, but now he's stuck, taking one rail, has to fight his way out of this corner. The machine gun damage is absolutely superb, and Xron has the Mega to back up to, so not a huge deal, but I'm very impressed with the way Tox fought his way out of that situation.
Yeah, I do love that play with the heavy machine gun. Of course, the strafe pattern can be quite different, so it's quite harder to hit those rails. And he did equivalent to 1.5 rails anyway, so definitely worked out in his favour. You can see Tox is doing everything he can to basically say, yeah, this heavy's mine, this room's mine actually, the entire map's mine. I just want to have full control of everything. Obviously, he's not had much opportunity going back and forth for the Mega due to the timings of him so far. Tox does back away, and always hit that other, or that last rail as Xron was looking towards that Mega, and still not really too much heavy segregation with the items as of yet. Still 0-0. as we're approaching the halfway stage.
Yeah, very measured game from both players. I mean, they know exactly what's on the line. This is the last map of this set. One of these players will end their tournament life here. And Xron has not fired, or has not landed a single cell of LG. He's only fired 15. The LG battle is just not interested in it, Lethal. 50% rail, but very interesting that he hasn't committed kind of to that mid-range fight.
Yeah, for the majority of it, I kind of feel like Tox has been the aggressor and Xron's not really... I wouldn't say have an opportunity to use the LG, but he's always been in rocket kind of rail territory, hasn't he? And now we're going to see... He's going to grab back using that piercing sight, goes back to his favourite little corner. Oh, the heavy machine gun damage again, 135 damage. And needs to try and stop him before he gets to any of his lights. And I love this already. Already in that position to see if he does cross over that bridge, which he does not as of yet. He's going to decide to back around. But Xron's going to be scared of Tatty. He's going to be worried. And he's just checking to see if there's any totems above. But it seems like Xron wasn't ready for him to make that approach.
No, and Xron has run out of rail slugs, and he needs to re-up immediately if he wants to try and keep that long-range battle going. Tox using rail or heavy machine gun, as you mentioned, and getting a lot of mileage out of it. There's a great rail, 70 HP. Totem goes down, and right after that, doesn't even matter. 25 bubble boosts him back up to 35, 60 after the second. Another light armor, but Xron is in a bad way. He's going to go up the jump pad, and luckily the Mega is waiting there for him. But Tox still laying it on thick, just missing out on that rail. That would have been the first frag of the game and put him in the lead. Tensions rising here as Xron on the back foot, up against the ropes, totem down to boost back to 100, but still no armor in sight.
And Xron knows exactly how aggressive Tox can be, so he's just being extra vigilant. The decisions he's going to make directly above him here. Xron still can't take this fight. He's not going to be able to engage or take many of these fights for quite a while until he can fully recover. But it seems like every single time Xron is close to his base stack, Tox just puts a stop to that every single time with the amount of raid damage he's put in. And again, once more, after pick up the Mega, I think it's not just that, it's not as if Tox is struggling to catch him, it's more Xron's defense is so good. He knows the read what he's potentially going to make. Hits that first. Well, are we going to see the first frag in 7 minutes here? 14 doesn't seem like yet, as Tox is going to now go back for the heavy.
This may be the first 35-minute game in the lower bracket or in all of the tournament, Lethal. Yet to be seen. It also could just come down to one frag. We'll take it. Toxic with another great rail. And another one! Totem goes down back to 93 HP, and that's actually the overstack. Xron uses the blood pool for just a little bit.
Oh, no.
And Toxic face-checking some totems. That is absolutely one way to clear those pesky things out.
That is certainly one way or another. Heavy is up though. He's got him in sight. He's just basically trying to mess around with the Qs once again to see if he can throw him off guard whilst he approaches his heavy. And Xron knows, he knows directly above him, knows he's baiting him out for the heavy to get the first frag, but he's saying no, thank you for the invitation, but I'm just not going to do it. I don't really fancy it today, and just hasn't really had a chance to go for heavy in a very long time. And items 14 for Xron, and also 14 for Toxic. It's just been a GA in terms of going for these items, but Toxic has been the clear factor of putting on that pressure.
This is amazing. 8 minutes in, 0-0, a chess match between these two. Toxic doing good damage, can't find the crushing blow to put a frag on the board. Xron has been doing an excellent job of hugging the ropes and living off the light armors and totems. But a minute 30 left in regulation for the last map between these two players in the lower bracket. There's one rail from Tox. Misses with the follow-up. Xron unfortunately not landing a retaliation. Tox trying to make his way over to the Mega, making sure that it's clear from the angles here. And Xron really wants to try and do some damage on this one. I think he may have just missed spotting him dropping down to the bottom of the columns, Lethal.
He may have done indeed, but at least he's picking up these hourglasses a little bit more, or at least trying to deny him in some way. Xron still has that totem in his back pocket. He's been up for a while now. Oh, it may have caught him there, but looks like Xron was more than ready for it. This is what I mean. He's always in position to have a get out of jail free card. He's going to drop down from that tri-bolt. And Tox now just circling around, going to go towards rockets. And he is taking a lot of different routes and changing his patterns. Oh, he's trying to be very aggressive with those rockets and does hit another. He's got to try and back away as soon as physically possible, as the heavy will be up in the next 12 seconds. And it's now Xron's turn to try and be a little bit more aggressive. He is ready. Oh, that was be so tight. But Heavy's up next 5 seconds. Will Xron get there in time? He does, but
no!
Tox now on 24 HP, looking to scarf away as soon as physically possible. Will he be able to? Looks like he backs away again. My heart can't take this here, Roy.
Oh, this is 10 seconds until the end of regulation. Tox hanging on by a thread. The Mega knowing way better than to try and even test for that. Instead, going back to the Heavy, but now he's stuck. The machine gun comes out, and this is a terrible situation for Tox. How is he possibly going to fight himself out of this one, Lethal?
Oh, I think he may have done it. One more rail should hit it, but Xron doesn't want to take the risk. He had time and had the health to make the repeat, but looks like it's going to go a different route once again. Both these players are just being very conservative. Of course, there's certain risks you can take. I could have thought Xron could have maybe hit one more. Maybe he didn't have the ammo management. I'm not 100% sure, but this is back to Tox on 49 HP.
He's living on a prayer. Yeah, 74 HP, no vision, nothing in sight. Can't stay for the blood pool healing. As Heavy goes to Xron, finally Tox getting a little bit of armor and getting that vision, and he's so concerned he pops it immediately to try and gauge exactly where Xron may be attacking from. Early rocket, somehow that rail will miss. Tox wants that light armor really bad. Here comes Xron, he wants to end it right now. LG on LG as Tox able to fend him off. Almost gets a rail. Drops down to another light armor as he makes his way to the Heavy. The Mega will be claimed by Xron. And Toxic actually battling back on this one. Needs to be very careful. This could be a terrible position. Tries to get the line of sight for the rail. Will miss. Will Xron try and test this Heavy?
That rail was so important. There's going to be a detriment there for Xron. He needs the 44 with the tri-bolt. Not going to try and rocket jump as of yet. He sees a little bit tempted there after the 70 from the LG, but he may have caught him in. Just give him the time to get that first smoke, but he's going to keep him at bay. He's going to look for that rail shot, but Xron's not giving him the chance as Tox at the same time picks up the Mega, still in deep trouble. He could drop, not going to drop as of yet. He's going to pick up the next slide above. Now looking towards going through that TP. There's so many chances for both these players, but it's just been so risky for them at this stage.
Oh, when he misses the jump for more rails, he's going to double back and grab the Heavy armor, but Tox, he wants that rail gun. He wants to be able to hit long range. Tries it again. There it is, and Xron is waiting. He'll miss with his rail. This could be really bad, Lethal. Chase doesn't come out. Measured play from Tox here as he doubles back and gets the vials for the vision. This should be free damage, and he misses with the rail conversion after a little string of lightning. But more importantly, able to stay on top of these major items. Look at the stack from Tox. Surely it's just a matter of time before Xron goes down. He has to hug the ropes. He has to have superb, perfect defense right now.
We've been saying that for the last 12 minutes. Oh no, he's got the jump pad. This could be a time for him to get taken down. Will he be able to hit this velvet? He jumps to toe to manage to just barely get away. And he picked up the light. Is he going to go for Heavy? No, he's not. He's just baiting out of it once again. Dear him. This is probably one of the longest 0-0 games we've seen in quite a long time. Thompson just to hold that angle with the plasma, but no, he's not going to go through. And Xron is just not. The problem is for Tox, but Xron is just not falling for any of the traps or baits he's making. But that rocket will definitely give Xron a tiny bit of leeway. Pierce's sight comes out again, just continuing to Na'Vi's hourglasses later on once it's been used. And he knows he's still down and knows it's just going to be hiding for a little bit. And now backs away, going towards the next Heavy. Hits that rail. Mega's up in the next 10. So if he approaches him mid-fight and get that Mega, that could be huge here for Tox.
3 minutes into overtime here. Again, map number 3. Whoever takes this will proceed onto the lower bracket to fight more. The loser, unfortunately, makes their exit. Great rail. Trying to look for another one. Tox trying to fight his way out of this sticky situation, trying to get across. There's the vision popped. Xron just waiting, locked in. There's a shoulder peak rail that'll miss. Heavy's up. Could be a bait here, as it's dangerous for Xron to make the cross.
Xron knew as well when he was Ferrari picking back. Oh, that was a lot of tri-bot damage. Both of them are so weak. Xron isn't available, but Tox needs to be careful when he goes for this Heavy, but Xron just decides to leave it. I think just taking extra caution around the decisions he wants to make. They're both basically just looking to play the long game, but that's an understatement at the moment. We're 4 minutes into sudden death, still no frags at this stage. Both items perfectly in sync, so neither player's going to get full control for a while unless one of these guys GAs the items and then straight afterwards, or maybe just try to delay it a little bit further. Both of them just trying to rail back and forth. A few missed shots from both these players. They're all going to do too much damage here, but it's slight deficit in terms of the stack department, goes for the heavy straight afterwards now. And in terms of items, it's almost equal. Oh, he's trying to use the LG just a tad bit. It's going to drop down again. Nova Xron is definitely going to try and go for him. Careful with his totems underneath also, but tries to use some of his rockets, keeps him at bay, does a lot of damage, but he's going to charge it straight through. He finds some of his rockets, really about to try and survive. Both of them are so weak, and oh my god, literally by the skin of his teeth, using the piercing sight once again, gets the light, it's going to head straight back to the heavy, and now it's going to be a neutral burst. Xron still trying to do some damage, and finally, have to pass it.
my heart, I'm just making noises over here. I'm a fat man, my heart can't take it, but if we do hit the 35-minute mark, I will call myself Beakstradamus, but it doesn't look like it as Xron is backed up into a corner. The rail up close will miss as Tox did not expect him that close. Trying to hunt, trying to play off the sound cues. Fantastic drop rail from Tox. We'll have vision up shortly as well. Items are about in sync. Is he going to try and push this one? He's going to allow Xron to go get the heavy. He's going to trade out for the mega, and we do the dance again, Lethal.
Certainly do, but Tox will be a bit more aggressive this time with heavy machine gun, but takes the first rail, second, no, he doesn't even try and go for it. He knows it's going to be a bit of a step over the mark here. And this is the problem, with the items not that segregated that far, you know, no one's going to get full item map control and try and at least be the aggressor or at least make a standpoint. And Tox now just playing a little bit slow, but finds him. Oh, he hits that rail, so important, but again, both these players are really weak. Tox continuing to deny the hourglasses once more. Mega's been up for a little bit of time here, but if the heavy gets picked up straight away, which it does, then again, you know, neither player's not going to have full map control for quite a while. 6 minutes and 15 sudden death in. The first rail does go to Xron. I don't think Expector's got the piercing sight, but will he be able to hit that next one? Yes, he does. Looking to a little bit of heavy machine gun, does back away, needs to take extra caution though, but this offensive and defensive balance from both his players is just perfect so far.
So much patience from both players. No vision, trying to live off a light armor. Luckily it spawns for Tox. Good timing on those items. Xron from up above trying to do some damage. But again, the items might get traded. Xron, he makes the decision for the mega. Tox is actually under in the column, stuck. Can he make his way to the heavy in time, or is Xron going to take full control of the map? And it looks like Tox has to concede.
Yeah, he had to. Like, Xron had height, he had the a slight stack advantage to a certain degree, but just knew that he was not in a position to do it. He didn't have positional advantage at all whatsoever. It's still 7 minutes into sudden death. Remember, for one of these players, whoever wins continues in the elimination bracket, and whoever loses, that's it. That's their tournament lifeline done. And the Quake World Championships. Toxo hits that first rail once again, going back to his usual spot now, just to see if he can get another angle. Misses the first shot. Will Xron try to back? No, he does not. Heavy is up, and this is where the item segregation is going to be quite heavy for the first time in quite a few minutes. And using that tribot to do a fair amount of damage. Finally picks up, he should be jumping down the stairs at this stage, depending on this LG battle. Xron was hoping that he would drop down and catch him a little bit more and do some extra damage, which he has not. Mega's up in the next couple of seconds here. Xron, I'm assuming, is going to be trying to go for it first, which he does. And this is where Tox is going to try and get another decent angle. That was a great first shot, great second shot. Looking for the third, will he be able to do it? It looks like he's still looking, takes out one turn and realizes it's directly underneath him, but the rocket just barely misses.
What year is it? 20-minute duels? What year is this, Lethal?
2004?
Oh, missing with that rail. That was a layup. That one is going to hurt, but Toxic still able to claim the heavy, as this is absolutely batshit crazy. 0-0. Both players fighting for their tournament lives. No mistakes can be made here. Around the corner. Nice little damage there, but the mega will be picked up. Again, Tox making the jump to the rail. Nice shot from the side, catching Xron off guard, but can he follow up? The pendulum swings back and forth for both players. Up the jump pad, that's a freebie. Xron using that totem to heal back up after that damage. Tox dropping down into LG. Is he going to cut off? He's trying to set the perfect trap, but Xron, so elusive. And Toxic, to be fair, on the back foot, just as elusive. Both players defensively playing lights out right now, as they have to.
Yeah, Tox has been playing the battle of attrition for like the majority of his matchup, but there's been times where Xron has had a slight advantage in terms of stack, and again just couldn't take advantage of it either. There's now 9 minutes into sudden death, another piercing sight, and I love this. He's most of the time he uses the piercing sight straight away, not just to his advantage, but just again denying the hourglasses for those totems. And this is the problem for Tox. He needs to continue to be on his toes. If he's not fully aware at some stage, he can't let Xron get this overstack. As I'm just quickly switching across, he does have the overstack and a totem in his back pocket to keep himself alive.
Gorgeous movement from Tox. And at this point in the game, I mean, this is pure just stamina at this point, right? Like, some players at this point just want to try and push in and say, I want to end this. This is going on too long. But when your tournament life is on the line, you have to pick the perfect opportunity to go in and commit and bet your tournament life on it. Both players showing so much restraint right now, knowing exactly what's on the line. It's a gorgeous thing to see.
Oh, lovely tribal damage from both these players. It's the first round. He's looking to drop down. Tox expected it, but now he's the one who's available. But Xron knows that Heavy's going to be up. He's going to hopefully, for the sake of it, wait for Tox to go for it. But instead, he just backs away. He knows that Tox is just going to wait out until he goes back round. Xron, of course, still got an overstack. Tox probably does realise this, but he hasn't pushed around that bottom mega or the mega area in general for quite a long time. As Xron does hit that first rail, realises that he's going to go back around. That would have been a huge rail for Xron, but again, too much damage from the Tribot's going to push him all the way back as he's using the piercing sight to watch him go towards the line. That was great. 71 from the last Tribot. Going to watch him push on forward. Misses that last shot, but so does Xron. He's going for the heavy. Is this going to be it? No, he does get the heavy, but it's going to keep him alive. And finally, Xron gets the first and the last frag. 10-minute 40 sudden death. That was such an incredible game, but that overstack massively helped him. I think the main talking point was the fact that when was the last time Tox pushed around that bottom and top mega position? It was a while, which is why the overstack stayed around for so long. How, of course, Xron was able to stay alive for so long as well. Yeah, that was an incredible game. That really was. That was just perfect.
That was the kind of shit I want to see every single lower bracket game. Yeah. That was insane. The stamina, the fortitude from both players to stay in the zone, but Tox getting trapped at the heavy near the end, and Xron finally landing the killing blow. He will take it 1-0 in map number 3 and take the set 2-1 and send Tox packing. Xron moves on in the lower bracket, and we say goodbye to Tox. Unfortunate. Very unfortunate, heartbreaking, but a fantastic game. That one is going to be one of my favorites from the tournament, and it was a one-frag game. High scoring doesn't necessarily mean high intensity and, you know, fantastic play, but that's going to be it for us. We're going to have to take a quick break. That went way too long. We're going to come back with more lower bracket action. Do not miss it. We'll be back